Hello, my name is Faith Nouri from Nouri Law Corporation at www.nourilaw.com. Thank you for listening today. Today, I would like to speak about conscious divorce. What does it mean to be conscious? It doesn't mean, or we cannot say it's opposite of unconscious. Conscious divorce, it means to be able to be aware about your action, your behavior, and the manner in which you um, speak, handle yourself, your thought and emotion, and you're aware of those thoughts and emotion, and you're able to manage your thoughts and emotion in a way that does not overtake you. So you will not speak in such a way that does not hurt the other party. You do not behave in such a way that it would create karmic behavior or karmic relationship with the other party, or energy exchange in which it creates a longer lasting bad feeling between you and the other party. When I say karmic, I don't mean karmic in a sense that many understands. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person, therefore you are paying back today. When I speak of karmic, I speak about actions and behavior that a person or individual um, out of either habit or out of custom, or the way you have been trained or trained yourself, that an individual repeatedly engage in. So some of these actions and behavior are karmic, such as perhaps your vision about money and the way you handle and the way you behave, or it could be the way you have relationship with your material goods that you have and how you perceive them as a fulfillment, or the way you consider those to be, or the attachment you have to those material items. So going back to consciousness, consciousness, it's said that by yogis and by many spiritual leaders and scientists that we are about 10% conscious or do behave consciously. Again, the opposite of conscious is not unconscious here. The opposite of it, or I shouldn't say the opposite, the other percentage of it is considered subconscious behavior, meaning behaviors that we engage in out of habits or on a routine that we are used to, and we just do it like an automatic pilot. For example, we wake up in the morning, dress up, brush teeth, brush hair, take a shower, or whatever that we do during the day, make coffee, drink it, close the door, take the dog for a walk, get in a car, go to work, drive to work. All of those are done without us engaging as to, oh, let's be conscious about picking this up or taking this out, or getting in the car. You kind of do it on an automatic pilot process. That is what our subconscious does. Our subconscious is the autopilot within that help us to do the activities that we do. The consciousness part of it is where we are aware of what we are doing. The awareness is to such a degree that when we engage in let's say conversation, our full attention is with the person we are speaking with. So if the person is, let's say, talking to us over the phone, our thought is not about grocery picking up or what is outside or what is the dog doing. That is not to be conscious, because you are distracted and you are not fully present at that moment. You're not fully there to respond and to understand and being present at that moment. Let me give you another example. Let's say you are conversing with your spouse or partner, and your spouse or partner is say something that it is bothering you. And the reason it's bothering you could be from prior experience, or something that is within you that gets triggered easily, or perhaps there are issues such as temper or emotional temperament, where causes you to get upset from the other spouse or partner or whatever he or she is telling you. When that happens, that means you are not aware, and you are not aware to control your feeling and emotion in such a way that there is no energy exchange between you and the other partner or spouse. So you are not behaving consciously. What you do, you are reacting to what you are hearing. And that reaction is what constitutes not being a conscious behavior. You are behaving based on a trigger that has been initiated, or what you have heard, or your perception of what that person means. And a lot of times when we hear something, it's not that the person perhaps meant what you think they meant. A lot of times we as an individual perceive whatever we heard or was said to us means this or that. So that is our general understanding of what we are getting from the other party. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the other party is at that thinking level or is actually expressing what we think the other person is trying to relate to us. So let's say the other person says, no, I can't come and pick up the children. Well, a person who's hearing it and maybe had an uncooperative spouse may consider that, oh, this is another example of not being cooperative, while the other party may actually have to be, be at another location and really cannot do that. And he may or she may not want to explain that to the other spouse. So that presumption, that reaction that we have, and the emotional or the energy that is generated from that response within us makes us to react in such a way that is not considered aware behavior, because we are immediately have this judgment, critical thinking that is going into that mode, and we are making decisions and react to that communication that was relayed to us. The conscious divorce is when you hear someone says, I can't pick up the children, you fully stop at that time. You do not go beyond what they meant. You do not make a judgment call on why he or she is saying that. You do not try to find fault with that person. You do not find guilt, blame, or shame with that statement, not with them and not within you. So what you do, you consider that the person cannot, and that's full stop. This means that you do not go beyond that. A person who is seeking to resolve their issue consciously, they are not getting into their own emotions and critical thinking and judgments in order to justify or victimize themselves. This process requires you to be aware of your emotion and your thinking process. So if you are hearing something that you don't like, look within. Why don't you like what you heard? This person said, I cannot go ahead and pick up the children. Does it mean that they are being uncooperative, or it means at its face value, he or she cannot pick up the children? So once you look at everything in that manner, meaning that you do not try to allocate a meaning to it, you do not see yourself as victim of that conversation, you do not see the other party as victimizing you or judging them, have a specific perception of what they mean, you really do not know what they mean. You really do not know what they're thinking. You may think you do, but you do not 100%. So if the person says, I cannot pick up the children, you, in your own mind, perhaps from prior experience, may say it's being uncooperative. That being true, I'm not saying that may not be true, but what I'm saying is that when you wish to take this step of not reacting and responding consciously with awareness, you no longer permit yourself to draw a conclusion about what you heard and make a judgment. What you hear is just what the person said. You do not take the next step of assigning a reason to it, or blame to it, or shame, or guilt. You do not assign anything to them. Because the truth to be, if you look at it truthfully, you do not know 100% whether this person can or cannot. You're just making a judgment based on what you hear. Unless you ask, let's say, for explanation, and the person says, I don't want to go. But even then, you do not know why they don't want to go, because you are not in a position to analyze it, and the other person may not want to let you know. So why do we go further than that? Why are we engaged in energy exchange here, which does not benefit you, the soul? It really does not, because what it does is escalate your energy level to a level that is not healthy for you. You're engaging in energy exchange with the other party because you become unsatisfied and you no longer are aware anymore. Now you are moving and being led with your emotion and your thought process. And in doing that, you can feel your body going through a change. If you are able to hear your body, you can hear your frequency, the wave movement of your body, all changes. So a conscious divorce is an individual that can consciously communicate with the other party without judgment, without preconceived notion, without guilt, shame, blame, and hears them. Whether that person is doing justice to you or not, that's not really their job. Although we all would like it that way, but the reality is every interaction we have is a mirror of what we are facing. What does that mean? Let's say you have an issue with finances. So you may have somebody using your credit card by fraud, and you see charges you don't recognize. You call the bank, and the bank may not be very cooperative. When you hear that and you're upset about it, you're all reacting. This is not how you would like to be, because this is the state where you're going down in your frequency. And I say frequency, meaning let's change that, your emotional level. And by going down in your emotional level, your behavior changes. You may get loud, you may get upset, your behavior may be very short and not pleasant with the other party you're speaking with, who is on the phone, and you're trying to seek a resolution with that person. Instead, understand that that event took place because either you're working out your relationship with money, this karmic behavior and how you perceive money, or it is happening so you can learn how to deal with situation like this that has to do with money and your perception of it. Instead of getting angry and react, listen and try to respond and see and look at yourself. How are you responding to it? How are you dealing with that? How does your body react? How does your emotion or the way your temperament? Check your body. Do you feel that there is a specific blockage in a specific part of your body? Do you feel a specific sensation between your shoulder, behind your shoulder, underneath mid back, or maybe other part of your body? Pay attention. Everything is telling. Your body speaks to you. Your body gives you signal so you can better handle yourself in way of being more aware about your behavior and actions. So a conscious divorce is a person who is able to be aware about their own behavior, their thought process, and their actions and their emotions. There is more to be said, but for this session, I hope this is a beginning of getting a little overview of what is being conscious and going through a process of dissolution or a breakup with the other spouse or partner with awareness and by understanding yourself, because the process it's really for you to get to know yourself. I understand that it may not appear that way, But everything that is happening, it's happening as you perceive it. And it's in a way, it is for you to understand yourself and resolve those emotion blockages, belief system, perceptions that you have that may or may not be accurate about you and the way you react to those perceptions or thought process or behaviors. It actually speaks about how you perceive yourself. So that's where the mirror of it comes about. So try to be more aware. When you hear something, take a moment, take a breath, take a deep breath. Breath is the best way. By taking a deep breath, you give yourself a moment. This air going in actually helps you to adjust and to perhaps take a moment to reflect on your next step, what you wish to do, what you intend to do. Does that serve you or not? Yes, it may serve you to get rid of the anger at that moment, but has that ever served you? It may feel pleasant for 5 minutes, but it never does the consequence of dealing with, because the other party and the energy exchange you have had with each other will just drag you in to further exchanges that will bring more unpleasantness. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Bye-bye.